Golisopod is coming soon to Pokemon Go as part of the TCG event starting on June 15th. Wimpod coming to the game. If you get 400 Wimpod Candy, you can evolve it into Golisopod. Why is Golisopod so exciting? Well, it's a big, mighty bug-type Pokemon, and it is also a water-type Pokemon, which means Walrein cannot touch this Pokemon. We don't have the moveset right now because it's not in the Game Master yet, so I'm bringing you guys to the Golisopod pre-analysis. How good could Golisopod be in Pokemon Go? Starting out with the basics here, Golisopod is a bug water type Pokemon, much like Araquanid, but unlike Araquanid, it's got some bigger stats going on, having a max CP at level 40 of 3,162. As far as the specific stats are concerned, it's got a 218 attack stat, which for a bug type Pokemon is kind of mediocre. A lot of the other bug types have at least a 230 attack stat. So when it comes to being a raid attacker, even if it did get Bug Buzz, I think it would be pretty mid compared to other bug types we currently have in the game. If you raiders are looking for a big bug type Pokemon, we do have Buzzwole and Pheromosa coming soon in Pokemon Go. The Ultra Beasts that come, directly after Nihilego there. If you want to learn more about these bigger bug type Pokemon, I'll link up above and in the description to my Ultra Beast pre-analysis. Looking at the defense stat, we got 226, which is pretty big, and then a 181 stamina stat isn't too bad either. So as you can imagine, when it comes to PvP, having that bigger attack stat can hurt it a little bit, but having such big bulk going on too, it doesn't hurt it too much. And I think Golisopod overall is a pretty well-rounded Pokemon when it comes to Great League and Ultra League PvP. And I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but I think it's worth highlighting again. To evolve this monster, you need to have 400 Wimpod Candy. It's getting the Gyarados treatment, but when it comes to like the dynamic between like Wimpod and Golisopod, it is kind of like Magikarp and Gyarados too, where you got like the little tiny wimpy Pokemon and you got the big daddy Pokemon. So like, it makes sense that Golisopod would be a 400 candy price tag type Pokemon here. Now, if you didn't believe me about the raid potential, here we got the DPS TDO spreadsheet from GamePress, and you can see that Golisopod is not making page 1. Now, a lot of Pokemon on page 1 aren't currently in the game. We got unreleased Megas, we got the Ultra Beasts like Pheromosa and Buzzwole. So what's page 2 looking like? And we can see that Golisopod does make page 2. Provided it gets Bug Buzz. But even with Bug Buzz, it's going to be behind Yanmega, who is like the better bug type attacker currently in the game right now that's, non-shadow. So kind of stiff competition there, right? But if we don't get Bug Buzz, then we got X-Scissor. And because we got a lower attack stat than, Pinsir and Scizor, it's probably going to be worse than them. And as far as charge moves are concerned, I think Golisopod for sure is going to be getting X-Scissor. Bug Buzz could happen along with it, but X-Scissor is almost guaranteed because, bipedal bug type Pokemon, typically they get X-Scissor in Pokemon Go from what we've seen. So not a terrible raid type attacker. Bug types in general aren't that great as raid type attackers, so I don't think we can expect much from Golisopod here. But hey, where you fail in raids, you can pick up in PvP, and Golisopod's a bug and water type Pokemon, the Walrein Smasher. So clearly, it does have some good potential in PvP. Now, we already have a bug and water type Pokemon out already, Araquanid, but Araquanid has a pretty stale move pool. It's got Bug Bite, Bug Buzz, and Bubble Beam, which isn't that oppressive or dynamic. Like, it's really good when it traps the Pokemon that it counters, but outside of that, it's not that great. Kind of like Bastiodon. So while Araquanid has like a 2300 stat product, Golisopod only has an 1800 stat product. If Golisopod gets a more dynamic move pool, then I think it has a lot of opportunities to stand out from Araquanid, while also not absolutely replacing Araquanid at the same time too. So what dynamic moves could Golisopod possibly learn? Well, if you look at Smoggin.com's page, it highlights its learn set pretty well here. You can see that there are some stinky stink bad moves like Aerial Ace and Aqua Jet. Please, Pokemon Go. We've had enough of the stinky moves. We want good moves. And Golisopod can learn good moves. It can learn Close Combat and Drill Run. Super effective damage into those big, nasty Steel-type Pokemon that are pretty dominant in the current state of the game. I think either of these moves would be pretty fantastic. Close Combat does more like damage up front, and then it also can hit normal-type Pokemon for super effective damage. I'm talking about you, Lickitung. Drill Run is also a good option, though, because while it doesn't hit as hard as close combat, it doesn't debuff you, which can be nice for those dicey Walrein matchups there. And then you also can get super effective damage onto poison type Pokemon such as Nidoqueen, which is also pretty nice. And then if you don't run a water type attack, helps you out against those fire types too. So either of these attacks, both of these attacks would be fantastic for Golisopod. And then scrolling down the line here, another big number that we could possibly get would be the Shadow Claw. Now, Shadow Claw is on basically every single Pokemon's wish list. Not every single thing gets it. In Pokemon Go, for the most part, only Ghost and Normal type Pokemon appear to be getting Shadow Claw. For the most part, there are exceptions. I think Golisopod could possibly be an exception, though, because, I mean, just look at those claws. You're telling me those ain't Shadow Claws? I don't know. I don't make the rules here. I don't decide what attacks the Pokemon do get, but Golisopod would be pleased as punch to get the Shadow Claw. If we don't get Shadow Claw, then we're probably going to get Fury Cutter as like our main fast move, which does not hit Steel type Pokemon for neutral damage, does not hit Fire type Pokemon for neutral damage, and would overall be kind of a letdown. I think Golisopod would still be really good if it got the ground or fighting type attack, but didn't get Shadow Claw, but Shadow Claw would really like seal the deal and make Golisopod a good Pokemon. And yeah, as far as other attacks go, as I said earlier, X-Scissor is almost guaranteed on Golisopod. I know that Pokemon Go doesn't take inspiration from Pokemon Masters, but like Golisopod's special sync-up attack in Masters is ya boy's X-Scissor, right? So bipedal bug-type Pokemon, X-Scissor. Ya boy's X-Scissor. X-Scissor, Claws, X-Scissor. So I think we can expect Golisopod here to get X-Scissor as like a bait auxiliary type attack. Another interesting move in Golisopod's arsenal is also Razor Shell. Razor Shell right now is exclusive to Samurott. It's a relatively weak attack, but it does have a 50% chance to drop your opponent's defense stat by one stage, which could be pretty deadly when paired up with Shadow Claw and, you know, one of those bigger attacks. But if we don't get Shadow Claw, I don't think Razor Shell, you know, defense drops in general really accelerate Fury Cutter damage that well. So I think that if we don't get Shadow Claw, we probably won't want to get Razor Shell, and we'd probably want to stick to a more like auxiliary damage type water type move, such as Surf, Scald, or Hydro Pump. Outside of that, another interesting attack we could get would be Rock Slide. And with Rock Slide, we could manage other bug type Pokemon pretty decently too in cup formats, and so I think that would be another okay move for Golisopod to get. Definitely not as good as the ground and fighting type attack though. Rollout is also a fast move that it could learn. I don't think they're going to give it Rollout though. I don't know. I don't know what Pokemon Go is going to do with Rollout. I don't know if Rollout would really add a whole lot to Golisopod, but Rollout definitely isn't a bad attack by any stretch either. So overall, I think Golisopod does have a lot of potential in PvP, but ultimately it comes down to the move pool. I think things are a little bit more dire in the Great League in particular because, you know, the Great League's so saturated with a bunch of dynamic Pokemon. Golisopod really needs good moves to stand out there. When it comes to the Ultra League though, Golisopod doesn't have competition from Araquanid anymore, and I think it could be an interesting option that can manage fighting type and dark type Pokemon in the meta, and then if it gets good water type attacks, it could also possibly manage Talonflame, allowing it to be a kind of dynamic spicy option in the Ultra League. So the stage is set for Golisopod to be good in PvP. Will it get the right moves? We'll have to see. And then if you guys are curious about Master League PvP, it's got decent enough stats for it, but I don't think Golisopod's going to do much in Master League PvP. So that's all I got to say on Golisopod here. If you got any questions on this content, of course, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, you want to see more like it, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description. Why, are you broke? Or do we have the house?
We have the house.
We got the house? Holy shit. Well, hey.